Tank. What tank? The Chicago Bulls not only win against the Utah Jazz in one of the most boring first halves of basketball I've ever seen in my life, they also now take the 9th seed after over 6 weeks of sitting at the 10th seed. We're going to talk about it all and more on today's Locked On Bulls.
You are Locked On Bulls, your daily Chicago Bulls podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Thanks for tuning in to Locked On Bulls, member of the Locked On Podcast Network, where it's your team every single day. That's Pat, the designer, host, and creator of the Windy City Breeze, and host of the Chicago Bears podcast over at ESPN 1000. Woo! Yep. A lot of shows today. I'm Haize, host and creator of Chicago Bulls Central, Chicago Bears Central, YouTube pages and podcasts.
Those are separate, right?
Yeah, two separate. That's throwback. Y'all got to be around for that one. Today's episode is brought to you by PrizePicks. Download the app today and use code LOCKEDONNBA to get $50 instantly when you play your first $5 lineup. Pat, Bulls going to win today. I listen. I don't know, but no, I do know because me and you actually came into your live stream and talked crap about it. This was the most terrible first half of basketball that I think I've seen all season. I've seen some bad basketball this season, brother.
Yeah, it was very boring. I mean, the Chicago Bulls started off the game very hot, on fire, in fact, and then they basically said, how about we switch sides, and now it's your turn to be absolutely on fire. And by the way, on fire is still shooting 40% and 33% from the three-point line for just about both teams. It was not a fun game. It was a grinded-out type of game. For sure. And I mean, grind it out for the fans. The players didn't seem to be working that hard, but the fans were grinding it out to make it through that game.
Bro, they might as well have been playing My Pony out there. That's how much grinding was going on out there, bro. It was ugly. Hey, do you want your kids involved?
Oh, no, please, God, no. I'm just the bachelor.
Nonetheless, here's the thing, man. The first half of this game was bad. The teams both had true shooting percentages of 44 and 47% after the first half, but luckily it came a little bit more alive in the second half of the game. The Bulls shot 45% from the field. It's crazy that we're talking about that as an improvement from the first half of the game, but they did shoot 45% from the field in the second half of the game. They finished with a true shooting percentage over 50%. That's how much more efficient. Coby White in this game, bro, is finally doing what both of us have been talking about for so long for Coby to do. He was, 2 for 10 from three-point range. He went 0 of 5 from three-point range in the second half of this game, but he attacked 4 free throws in just the second half of this game. Getting to that free throw line allows Coby to find his rhythm in a different way. He finishes the game leading all scorers with 26 points, which was really good to see Coby White have that type of performance, even when the shooting, it wasn't terrible, but it wasn't great either. 9 of 19 from the field is just one of those. It's cool, right? It's not terrible. It's all right. How'd you feel overall from the game from Coby for tonight?
Listen, I thought Coby had a solid game tonight. It was a game where he just kept the pressure on him. You know what I mean? And that's all you can ask for in a game like this. Some games you are going to be off. Some games you are going to have to grind it out. You're going to have to find different ways to do so. And the one thing that I loved about Coby in tonight's game was not only was he attacking the rim, but when he was attacking the rim, it was almost like this attitude of like, it's disrespectful that you think you can stop me. It's disrespectful that you think you can slow me down going to the bucket right now. Like, I'm about to get to this bucket. And I'll tell you this right now. I don't know who called mismatch on Lauri Markkanen, but almost everybody took advantage of him tonight. I thought he was playing for the Bulls again. How badly Lauri was getting taken advantage of defensively tonight. The Bulls did a really good job on both ends of the floor. And I think Coby White really did a good job kind of epitomizing that and just forcing Utah to put him at the free throw line no matter what. And listen, still keeping, I think while he didn't shoot it well, he kept the pressure on them. And there is a value in that.
Yeah.
There's a value in like, hey, you have to worry about me shooting this three, because I think it was in the third quarter, he pump faked the heck out of what's that boy named Sensabaugh? Gave him a little up fake, and he jumped out of his Nikes going past them, and Coby was able to drive to the bucket, kick it out to the corner, create an open three.
Yeah, and it was good to see also the young players step up. Like Dalen Terry found rhythm today that he played pretty well after finding that great highlight reel dunk today. Love to see Dalen Terry play the way that he did. Modest played very aggressively. It was personal enjoyment seeing him go isolation on Larry Markin and be able to score it. And we don't get a lot of ISO Modest out there, so got to see that a little bit. Got to see that on one possession today, and he ended up walking away from that one. 17 points from Modest Vucevic today. But one player that I was impressed with, that I know his stats have always been really good, but I was really impressed with how he just played the entire game of basketball today on both sides. Kevin Huerter had himself a game today.
I talked about Kevin Huerter tonight so often, not because of the shot, because there was a couple of threes that he walked into it. He was just like, I'm taking it. And I was like, okay, calm down. It looks like Kevin Huerter is back. Kevin Huerter on the defensive end tonight was shockingly good. I mean, like switching the hips, making sure that he was turning his man around, putting guys in tough position, using the length around the rim. Like, I literally was just like, I didn't know Kevin Huerter had this level of defense in him. I haven't seen Kevin Huerter. I am used to Kevin Huerter literally just being the guy that is confused defensively on just about every play. He doesn't look like that guy anymore.
No.
Tonight, to me, he looked almost like he was dictating where guys were going to go. I said dictating, calm down, where guys were going to go. Isaiah Collier a couple of times was trying to attack him, and he kept turning them and making them go to the direction where the help side defense was going to be at. I was sitting there, I was like, is this Kevin Huerter right now? And then on top of that, using the length at the rim, forcing tough shots, guys missing a shot. He's the one snatching the rebound and starting to break.
Yeah, Kevin Huerter did a lot. He played a complete game of basketball tonight. Like, he just impacted the game in so many different places that you just don't expect it. 9 rebounds, 2 assists, 1 steal, 1 block. He had the highest plus minus on the team at plus 23. Yeah. Kevin Huerter was all over the place today. Efficient shooting tonight. I tell you what, man, I know that there were some talks on, are the Bulls going to look to flip, the players that they acquired here in the offseason. I tell you what, I want not only Zach Collins to say, Kevin Huerter to stay too. We'll talk about Trey Jones here in a second, because I want to get Pat's take on something. But on your take on something else, I made this analogy over on Central, and I'm gonna bring the PC version of it here. Nikola Vucevic is an old dog that needs to be put down. But no, hold on. But you know how, like, I don't know how if you've ever had a dog that's just literally old and needs to be put down. But then every time you're like, it's time. They have those 2 good days where they're running, they're going up the steps, they go back outside, they're chasing, they're playing fetch with you. Like, oh, maybe it's all good. Like, that was Vooch today, because he played a terrible game, had 1 really good quarter, but other than that, terrible game. It was literally like, hey, no, I'm still alive. Wait, hold on, wait a second.
Dog, listen. You calling Vooch the dog. To me, I think we need to trade Vooch for the dying dog and just the bullet to put it down with. Like, I think that's all we've got worth-wise for Vooch out here. And it sucks, right? Because no matter whether this is Vooch not wanting to be here, or no matter this is Vooch just kind of where he's at right now. And again, remember, he came back from calf tightness. Maybe it's still affecting him. We know Vooch is more willing to play through injuries than most. Maybe that's something that he's dealing with. But all you've done here is put yourself, once again, AK, congratulations to you, putting yourself in the worst possible position that you could have on a piece that you probably were trying to trade next season, where now everybody's going to look at it and go, oh, wow. What happened to his knees and legs and thighs? And
what happens to his ability to play the game of basketball? He is a basketball player, right? Like, sometimes, other than that, he's a 260-pound paperweight.
When Stacey called him a traffic cone, I'm not gonna lie to you, I was like, oh, wow. It's bad when Stacey's calling you
there's nobody who defends the big man like Stacey King. When Stacey's calling you a traffic cone, it's done, bro. Old Yeller. I'm telling you.
Yeah. Hey, I'm right there with you, bro. The Vooch, the continuing to hold on to Vooch has finally reached the point where it's just like, okay, you failed at every point. And it's why, remember when we were talking about, what was it? Was it Vooch for Capella earlier in the season?
Yeah.
It's why I said, just make the deal. He doesn't want to be here. He doesn't want to be, he's tired of being on a team where he's not the focal point of it anymore. Yes, you're not getting back great value. Those days are over. You want to know why you're not getting back great value? This. He can't move.
Yes, that's hilarious, bro. Nonetheless, man, we're gonna stop killing Vooch here for a second. We're actually gonna talk about a player that's been playing well. First, I said for a second. I didn't say permanently. I said for a second. We're gonna come back on the other side of this. We're gonna be talking about Trey Jones, but first we got to get into a message from Hungry Root. When it comes to grocery shopping and meal planning, I've had this ongoing problem. I just don't have time. Between work, life, and trying to eat healthier, I was constantly feeling stressed out. I go to the grocery store, buy things I didn't need, and then end up with no time to actually cook. And sticking to my health goals, that was a struggle too. But everything changed when I discovered Hungry Root. Honestly, it's been a game changer. It's the easiest way to eat healthy without all the stress. With Hungry Root, it's like having a personal shopper and nutritionist all in one. They take care of my grocery shopping, recommending meals and groceries based on my taste and health goals, from anti-inflammatory to high protein and gluten-free options. And the best part, every meal is ready in 15 minutes or less. I'm talking quick, healthy meals that actually taste great, all delivered straight to my door. It's been a huge time saver and has made healthy eating so much simpler. You're going to love Hungry Root as much as I do. For a limited time, you get 40% off your first box and a free item in every box for life. Just go to hungryroot.com/LockedOnNBA and use code LockedOnNBA. That's hungryroot.com/LockedOnNBA, code LockedOnNBA to get 40% off your first box and a free item of your choice for life. hungryroot.com/LockedOnNBA, code LockedOnNBA. Don't miss out. Also got to get into another message from Monarch. Ever check your bank account and wonder, where did all my money go? Between dining out, online shopping, and entertainment, it's easy to lose track. That's where Monarch Money comes in, your personal CFO, giving you full visibility and control over your finances. Monarch Money isn't just a budgeting app. It's a complete financial command center. You can track all your accounts, investments, and spending all in one place, so you stop just managing your money and start building wealth. When I started using Monarch, I realized how much I was spending on merch, and now I budget even smarter and save more. Still get a little merch in there from time to time. Instead of juggling multiple apps, you can use Monarch to check your finances, track spending, and even plan long-term goals. Managing money with your partner is smoother than ever. You can track shared and personal accounts, set goals, and stay on the same page without the stress. Take control over your finances with Monarch Money. Use code LockedOnNBA at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. That's monarchmoney.com, code LockedOnNBA for half off your first year. More Locked On Bulls coming up next. All right, Pat. Trey Jones. We got to talk about it. Played a great game today, has played a great game since moving into the starter, has continued to play really solidly on both sides of the ball. Despite being 6'1" and sometimes the smallest player on the court, he continues to give tremendous effort for the Chicago Bulls team, day in and day out. When you look at him and what he's done so far as a starter this season for the Chicago Bulls, I had the numbers up and then they left. 14.8 points per game he has as a starter, 52% shooting from the field, 60% shooting from three, 6 assists, 5 rebounds, 1 steal. That's starter level production there for you. The question I have to throw to you, Pat, I know people have talked about, should the Bulls keep Trey Jones? Should they give him a contract? Should they open up a roster spot to keep him? The problem that I'm starting to think here is that there are going to be teams that are going to come calling, offering him a starting position. Minnesota being one that I'm really looking at that could make a lot of sense for Trey Jones this offseason. Even if the Bulls clear the spot, do you think they're going to have difficulty re-signing him?
Yeah. Because, listen, Trey Jones was never the problem down in San Antonio. Trey Jones got sat down because Chris Paul showed up.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. Chris Paul walks in a bar. Trey Jones sits down. That's the joke. Like that's the only thing that took away from his game was he was on a team where all of a sudden Chris Paul was on that team, and I think that's the part where you forget how good of a player Trey Jones was. This is not a surprise.
Yeah.
This is not this is not a shock to anybody who's watched this young man play basketball that he's been able to go out there and be able to still put up this level of production. Like, this is who Trey Jones has always been. He's an efficient passer. He's somebody who defensively can get after you. And yeah, there's, to me, I'm gonna be honest with you, Haize, I don't think there's a chance that the Bulls can keep, because you decided to double down on Lonzo Ball. Good job on the 35 games.
I think this is even a little bit beyond the Lonzo Ball of it all as well. I think this comes down to role, but the Lonzo thing definitely doesn't help it at all. Like, paying Lonzo and us getting 4 games from him since we gave him that contract, which we talked about this morning when we had the episode, is one thing. But then being able to trade for a player that literally is doing everything that you re-signed Lonzo for, but better, is a double slap in the face.
Well, and I think the reason I say the Lonzo thing is because if you saw Trey Jones playing this way, right, and you're continuing to watch him play this way, if you get to this point in the season, you go call his agent. We need to sit down and get a contract done. Nobody else can get in on it right now. This is the time for you. This is the time for you to go, hey, we can get a contract. Right now, you can't do that because you've locked up that roster spot, because you've held on to these pieces that are going to be here next season pretty much no matter what, unless you decide to trade somebody away, which you can't do till the offseason, when he can go out and find out how much he's worth, when he can go out and find out that he can get a starting spot. Right? If you lock him up, it don't matter what you do. Hey, Trey, you gonna be here? Yeah, I mean, if at some point you want to be a starter on the team, here we go. But you didn't give yourself that opportunity because you were so gung-ho on the first 35 games of Lonzo Ball that you saw. And technically, only the first 31 games of Lonzo Ball that you saw in 2.5 years. Then he played 4 more and died again. And by the way, it's not the doctors telling him not to play. It's just Lonzo going, my wrist hurt. I can't play. I can't, it's too uncomfortable for me to go out there. Like that's a problem, dog. And I'm not saying that Lonzo's faking it or he's saying, but my point is, like, you're sitting here having the same conversation about Lonzo Ball that we've been having for 3.5 years. And the people who pay real contracts got fooled by 30 games. I could have told you 10 games in, don't re-sign them. Oh, but it's a good story. Shut up. Stop looking for the story. Look for dubs.
Yeah. It's yeah. I love that Lonzo's been able to return to basketball and look primarily like Zoe, right? I love that. Like like everything that he does. Yes, he's returned. Yes. 35 games after being gone for 2 years is a return back to basketball. He's returned the same way he left, Pat. 35 games. So technically, he returned to form.
Listen, if this is a return, we need to go figure out when. We need to figure out a better return on some of these players. We need a better ROI.
First of all, ROI,
ROI right now.
In the era of Acme, ain't no ROI, bro. We ain't getting no ROI. What you talking about?
I need an ROI, bro. 35 games. This man gave me the same thing he gave me. Now what he's supposed to do? He gonna be here the full 2 years now.
Yeah.
70 games. 70 games in 5 years for Lonzo Ball. He might as well be Otto Porter Jr.
I think Otto Porter Jr. played more than that. I think he had a season of 46 games in there somewhere.
The return.
Oh,
welcome
man.
back. Oh, he's gone again. This man returns like Batman.
Hey, listen. What can we say?
I'm sorry, I cut you off. That was fun.
No. He said he returned like Otto Porter Jr. You're not lying. It's very accurate. But to get back on the Trey Jones portion of it, right, it was just not turn this into the Lonzo roast session. We'll have plenty of time in the offseason to do that. Trey, there's going to be teams that come calling for Trey. And the thing that I hope for anything while we're talking about ROI is that hopefully the Chicago Bulls can levy this into at least a sign and trade. If you're not going to be able to re-sign a young man, at least get something back in the sign and trade to help facilitate his next deal. Something. It's all I can hope for. That's it. That's what I got.
I I don't know, bro. It's sad, and it's even when the Bulls start to do things well. I said it on the Bulls Breeze today, which is hilarious. Everybody was like, "You just kept saying Bears names, but with Bulls, there's a lot of similarities. It's difficult." I think I called him Trey Smith on the Bulls Breeze. Don't worry about it. I'm still working back into Bulls talk here, but I mean, it's the fact that you, at every turn, even when your team is playing the best version of basketball we've seen them play, this might be before the 35 games. I ain't gonna lie to you. 35 games was fun, but I think me and you were both in the same boat. We'd get to the end of those games, we'd be like, I'm ready to enjoy this, but they're not playing a lot of defense. This may be the best basketball we've seen them play under Billy Donovan at any point.
Yep.
And you still can't get out of your own stupid way. I mean, my God, the only way you could be dumber is if you caught a fish and never mind, don't worry about it. Let's go ahead, Reed. And then
all right, now, Pat, so you need to watch it, because if somebody says to either of us, do you want your kids involved, we're going to be in jail.
Hey, listen, I'm going to tell you this right now. Involve them. Pull up. The warning is out there. I guarantee you it will not go as well as Twitter comments go. Before we get into this final topic, I guess now about the Bulls taking the 9th seed, because Haize just switched the topics all around. We got to tell you guys all about our sponsors over at Prize Picks. Oh, God, basketball season is heating up, and there's no better way to get in on the action than with Prize Picks, the best place for daily fantasy sports. With Prize Picks, you can pick more or less on at least 2 player projections for a shot to win up to 1,000 times your cash. It's easy to use, available in over 30 states, and lets you mix and match projections across different sports. This week, I'm selecting Luka Doncic for 25 points or more, and Jason Tatum for more than 8 rebounds. Listen, the Luka Doncic 25 is a lock. The Tatum 8 has me a little bit nervous, right? But here's the thing about Prize Picks. It makes it simple. You can set your lineup in less than 60 seconds and stay engaged all game long. And when you win, your money hits your account in as little as 15 minutes. There is no such thing as waiting around. By the way, every single Tuesday, Prize Pick discounts selected players and player projections up to 25%, even giving you even more value to your lineup. So what are you waiting for? Download the app today and use the code LOCKEDONNBA to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. That code is LOCKEDONNBA for $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, run your game.
The NCAA tournament is here, and so is the Bracket Breakdown.
Locked On Podcast Network and Amazon Fire TV channels are teaming up to deliver NCAA tournament coverage like never before. Watch studio shows featuring former players and Locked On's local experts as they guide you through every upset, buzzer beater, and bracket matchup.
Stream it all for free on Amazon Fire TV channel. Search Bracket Breakdown to see it all for free.
It's your team every day.
All right, Pat, since I did
You
move
gotta
the
hit the
topic,
music. You didn't hit the music.
The Bulls took the 9th seed today, Pat, with their win and a loss by the Miami Heat. They're now firmly in the 9th seed. They are 2.5 games back of the 8th seed, Pat. I got to give you your credit. You were the first one to look at this and publicly say, hey, the Bulls are making the playoffs.
Bro, I'm telling you, bro. This team was it the Miami game? Was it the Miami game the way it won? Or
I don't even remember
which game it was. But dog, just watching them is, first off, I love the fact that they are playing this way. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like it's impossible not to enjoy the fact that the Bulls have a standard that they're sticking to, that they have a standard of play that with Josh Giddey out of the lineup, it does not matter. That's where we're at. This is how we have to play. That Coby White has found his groove here. There are some concerns, and I think valid concerns that, hey, is this just another Bulls hot month that's going to happen? And maybe it is. But what we're seeing basketball-wise out of the Bulls right now, like I said in the last segment, is the best basketball we've seen out of this team in a long time. But it is kind of sad that, just like everything I just said, that they are dumb enough to actually put themselves in a position to make the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, listen, dumb, whatever you want to call it. The Bulls, I mean, that's the motive of this front office, right? Like, we know that AK has way more interest in a team that's actually winning, no matter what it is. He like that than anything else, right? This team, the moment that this team took the steps that it did take, when it started looking like a team that was turning the corner, any chances of tanking were all gone. There weren't really any before then, but it was definitely all gone at that point, right? I think we all know that. We all need to come to that realization. And no need to throw hats or anything about that at this point. It is what it is, right? So here's the thing, Pat.
That was crazy.
The problem that I have in this is that, not the problem, but the realization is that every team in the play-in is all sucking right now. I would honestly say, I don't know how much of the Miami Heat, the Atlanta Hawks, or the Orlando Magic you've gotten to watch, but the Bulls are playing the best basketball. I don't care what the record is. Right now, for the last at least 2 weeks, the Bulls are playing the better brand of basketball than all those teams.
Depending on which Orlando we game. I ain't gonna lie. Orlando.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, but that's what I mean consistently, right? Orlando's highs are higher than the Bulls, right? But then but they don't always look like that, and they have the greater potential, I think, as well. That's what I'll say. The Orlando Magic turning it on right now is the only thing keeping the Bulls from getting in the playoffs.
Yeah, yes and no, because Orlando might actually get that 7 seed, and the Hawks are horrible. You want to talk about some bad basketball being played? Miami is playing some horrible basketball, and I actually think the Hawks are worse. I know, like, the Miami just went on Eric Spoelstra's first ever 8-game losing streak in his NBA career.
Shout out to Eric Spoelstra.
Shout out to Eric Spoelstra. We've had so many as Bulls fans. But Atlanta just looks like they don't belong on an NBA floor. Yeah. Like, there are times where I'm just like, are they playing basketball or do they think this is hockey? Like, what's happening right now? So to me, it's why I said this, right? And it wasn't about the Bulls being good. The Bulls playing well. Like we said, the top 10 defensively since the All-Star break. Offensively, there's been a clear uptick, and they haven't even had their full slate of players on the team. But it's more about how horrible everyone around the Bulls is, and kind of realizing that this team, while they're at the bottom, I don't know if it's just that they take it more seriously than everybody else, but Haize, they're not just competing with the garbage of the NBA. No. They're beating the garbage of the NBA.
But they're competing with even better teams, yeah.
With playoff teams. That game versus Houston, if Coby don't take a dumb 3, you're talking about that being a competitive game down the stretch, where it might not get away from you. I mean, like, you have a Bulls team right now that is competing with the tops of the tops and beating the teams it's supposed to beat. Haize, when we had all the players on the team, we could barely compete with the bottoms of the bottom, and we got beat by just about everybody.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is so different.
It's a weird place to be in, bro. Like, and I get it that we're almost at the finish line. We got 14 games left, and most Bulls fans are like, they just want to get to the draft. If the Bulls would have started off this season playing this way, I guarantee you most of the people who are still pro tank or whatever would be rocking and rolling, excited. But because of where this season started off, right, and us looking at that pick that was protected at the time to the Spurs and saying we got to be at least bottom 10 to keep our pick, have held on to that mindset. At this point, I'm just along for the ride, bro. Wherever it's gonna go, it's gonna. We had a 1.3% chance when we got Derrick Rose at number 1. It is what it is. The way that it'd be different if we had a team full of old geezers, right? And they were like, now y'all want to start playing good, but these are young players that are fighting, that are competing, that are developing. Dalen's looking like an NBA player. I'll take wherever it goes is where we're gonna be at.
And I think no matter where you are, the concern is the same. And I was having this debate with somebody in the comments yesterday. If I'm at 15 or 17, I'm concerned that AK is going to pick the wrong player. If I'm at 2 or 4, I'm concerned that AK is going to pick the wrong player. You want to know why? Because P. Will went 1 for 7 today. Like, it don't matter where we're at. Listen, AK is now 2 players in. Ayo Dosunmu is a good pick. And it feels like Modest Buzelis is a good pick.
Yeah.
Maybe he's turning the tide. That's all that we can say about it. Like, literally, that is all that we can say about it.
We'll see what happens, bro. We got 2 draft picks this year. We'll see where the future holds for us. And we'll be here talking about it every day on Locked On Bulls. Any last thoughts?
Every day. Danny Wolf at 16, Rob. You know I'm in on Danny Wolf at 16.
Danny Wolf at 16 is tremendous value. Let me be clear there.
Listen. I mean, never mind. I don't know if I can get away with that on Locked
Yeah,
On.
no.
That was a breeze question. That was a breeze question I pulled off there. Just saying. It's getting bright in here.
I mean, you are dressed like Tony Danza right now, by the way. I just
Hey,
want to
listen,
let you know that. You're a bada bing away. Like, I don't know. I know you probably don't watch Power. He's on Raising Canaan. Like, you literally have the exact outfit he had.
Tony Danza's on Raising Canaan?
Yeah.
The actor Tony Danza?
Yeah, he's the mob boss.
Oh, that's hilarious, actually. I don't watch none of them shows. But how about we finish it off with this? Because this was a victory. Hey. See red! Coby White! You're looking right! Shout out Trey Jones. He can really ball. If the Bulls keep playing like this, I'm going to get the kids involved.
Thank you, people. We appreciate you guys so much. If we get canceled after this show, man, we just know that we love you. Make sure you guys are following us at Locked On Bulls. You can follow Pat at Pat the Designer. You can follow me at CEO. Locked On Bulls is free and available in the podcasting app and platform of your choice, as well as YouTube, the Odyssey app, Amazon Fire TV, Roku TV. Love you guys. Go Bulls. See you red, y'all. Peace.
I'm back. That was the one. That was the one.
You want the kids involved?